Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We humbly ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Please let us know in the comments where you're watching from. If you have any questions for the carvers and our special guest. My name is Michael Mondragon, and I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Let's meet the carvers. First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He is the 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins. Paul Dever, welcome.
Hey, hi guys.
Hey, Paulie.
Everybody.
Good to see you.
Hi, Michael. Mickey.
Going on?
Next, he is a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network. Matt Harper, welcome.
Fellas, good to see you.
Hey.
Our guest creator makes incredible sculptures, drawings, photo illustrations, and even short films. He specializes in one-of-a-kind handcrafted silicone and resin prop displays for Grayhouse Studios. From Springfield, Massachusetts, the multi-talented Michael Perry. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And the fourth member of our team is the Hello Wheel, the Sinner Spinner. So it's going to be a special one today. So Paul, do you want to tell them about it?
Sure, I'd love to. Well, in honor of having Michael on the show and his unbelievable body of work, we've decided to adjust the wheel a little bit for tonight only. And there's one option on the wheel. And we're going zombie tonight, everybody. We're going to do a zombie in honor of Michael. So,
oh, it's amazing. Love it.
Let it roll. Come on.
All right, let's see what happens. Oh, it landed on. What are they on?
There it is.
Oh my God. Here we go. Try it again.
It's a ditto sign, so I think we have to a dead zombie, everybody. That's what we got.
Love it. I love it.
I can do that.
Quite well. Yes.
Right on. So if you're carving at home, now is the time to get your tools. And a dead zombie is the topic for today. So we're while you guys do that in the background, we're actually going to go around the horn and have a cheers. Michael, did you bring anything to drink?
I certainly did. Nice cup of coffee here.
Ooh,
there you go.
You gotta keep warm in Springfield.
Oh my God, we really do. It's freezing.
Is it Folgers? Is it Folgers or Senka?
Neither. Got some nice Starbucks here, so we're good.
Oh,
nice.
Fancy.
All those flavor crystals are bursting with all that great flavor.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you have today?
You know, I went with a tried and true Diet Coke.
Oh, there you go.
With some whiskey in it.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
I like the pause. Very dramatic.
Yeah. You know, only because I'm out of beer. I drank some beer at Thanksgiving, and it's pro tip. If you want to be full, add beer to whatever the hell you're eating on Thanksgiving, and you'll never want to eat again. So I'm backing away from that for a little while.
There you go. That'll
It's
do
good
it.
science, Matt.
Yeah, it's good science.
Right on. Paul, what you got?
Okay, this evening, because it is getting cold, I have a nice Samuel Adams. A Sam 7.
Oh.
All right.
There's the Boston guy, right?
Yeah,
Sam Adams.
$1.25 pop.
My Sam Adams glass.
Look at you.
So tonight's show sponsored by.
Sponsored by.
There we go. Michael.
Yes.
Well,
What are you drinking, Mickey?
My beer for tonight is actually a cool one that you guys might like. It's Trejo's Cerveza.
Oh, no.
Danny Trejo has a Mexican lager.
Oh, I didn't even know he made that. No way.
Yeah. There's
I didn't know
actually
he made beer.
Yeah, he's actually has a it's called Trejo's Tacos here. He also has Trejo's Donuts.
Wow.
So yeah,
What
full
doesn't-
incentive to whenever you come out here, we'll definitely hit this up. But he actually has a Mexican lager, so I definitely wanted to put that out there. So that's what I'm having tonight. I'm going to be
Right on.
nursing that.
I like that guy. Everyone
Yes.
likes Danny Trejo, right?
Yes.
All right, so we'll do a little quick cheers.
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 Salud to
Yeah,
all
there
the
we go.
creations
Cheers.
tonight.
All right.
Alrighty. All right, time to get rolling here.
Yeah. So
All right.
Go for it, Matt.
I was just going to ask. Okay, so we've got produce, and Paul's teeing his up, but he watching the same way I am, watching Michael kind of get his process started. So when you're now you're using a medium monster clay.
Yep,
right?
medium monster clay. Yep.
Okay.
Just a little bit. It's a little bit cooler to start getting like the shape built up and everything on it. If you have it, if it's too soft, or it'll go like right through the dowel.
Okay.
You can add like little covers to the dowel just to keep everything like staying where it should. But for the most part, I just kind of like to start with like a cooler blob of clay right on the top of it, and it does just fine.
Like a nice solid base, right?
Yeah.
Now, what would you suggest for, because we know a couple of artists that actually do the same exact thing as you're doing, and they mount their squash or smaller pumpkins to an armature base with like a threaded flange and a piece of pipe.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean that's all it is. It's just a flange. It's got two flanges, just one to keep everything on top here, and one to mount it to the bottom.
I gotta get something like that.
Do you make all your own, like the stands and stuff like that? You just kind of you used to make all your own. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh yeah. Everything is just either from scraps or whatever, whatever's laying around. It all works.
Yeah. So you're typically building. I mean, when you do any one of your, and we're going to see, guys, we are going to see some of his stuff, and so prepare yourselves if you haven't followed Grayhouse Studios and some of his work, just to be just blown away and like shaking your head at that this is not a crime scene of some sort. But but when you start an idea and you're just kind of from square one, you usually have something in mind like drawn up, or do you do or just kind of going off the top of your head most of the time?
I mean, I honestly kind of just let the clay do what it wants to do, and I go from there. For the most part, I never have anything specific planned or anything outlined. I rarely do drawings beforehand. I prefer to just kind of jump into it. It makes it a little bit more exciting. You don't, but the thing is with that, it can change so much, right. But it's all good though, because the more time that you're working on it, the more practice that you have.
Yeah.
And it can go in any direction that you really want to. So, that's how I do it. I mean, I certainly don't say this is the way it should be done, or however people need to do what makes them most comfortable. If they want to go ahead and get a drawing or something to conceptualize what you're going to do, I mean, totally, more power to you.
And I love that about art, because everybody we've interviewed has different approaches like that, and sometimes I'll completely go off the cuff and have it be zero ideas in my head when I start carving, and other times I have a kind of a thought and I need some references, and I'll kind of bring those along. And it's funny because everybody has a little different approach to it, and some people will even, when they're doing pumpkin sculpts, will do a clay maquette of it, first, or a full drawing. So I'm just intrigued by, seeing the stuff you do, and kind of letting it flow. I'm super into that myself. I love the fact that you're kind of just letting it, become its own thing, which is just super fun.
Yeah. What about you, Paul? What do you do? Do you have ideas beforehand before going into it?
I literally thought you stole the speech that I had planned for when I say how I start. I feel like it puts too much pressure on me when I have too much of a game plan. I feel like I always let myself down a little bit. It puts so I like the process of, like you said, seeing where it takes me. Like he's got this crazy little bend to it, so kind of hoping that the light will catch it right, and that'll just kind of steer me where I'm going.
Yeah.
I never ever draw before unless I'm told I have to do something. So you know what I mean? If it's for a client or something, so they could see. Right. But no, I like, my favorite part is hey, look what I did.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Come on.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to get much carving done tonight because I'm just going to be geeky questions, but that is phenomenal.
Put that picture there for an hour and a half so I can try and mimic that face.
Yeah, let me see that.
Yeah, so I mean, this. I mean, he was putting the eyeballs in on this one, but I mean, and then this is what it turns into, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, everything is custom done and one at a time sort of thing. We're not a factory. We just we'll do small runs of products like this, but nothing extreme. We're only 2 people. And for a long time, it was just me. It was me doing absolutely everything for it. And within the past year and a half, I've had Angela join the studio, and she's been doing such an amazing job with absolutely everything, and it's a real help. So, but yeah, it's just all one at a time sort of deals. Everything's made here in the studio, so. Yeah.
Are you punching that hair in?
Yeah.
Like one by one. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. One by one.
Wow.
Yep.
That's Harvey, I guess, right? Purple Pie says.
Yep. The Harvey.
And then, so Purple Pie is, I guess, there you go, the daughter of Angela. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, Purple Pie.
Nice, Paige.
Look at that.
So, Paul, you have this one, right?
I have. Yes, I do. As a matter of fact. Let's see. Where am I looking? Right.
So my first thought when I saw that one was like, that's Pac-Man's anatomical twin. But just you know what? Paul asked this question yesterday when we were doing the pre-show. But tell us about the teeth, because I'm fascinated by the process at which you make the teeth.
Yeah, people really seem to dig the teeth. We make the teeth in the studio here. It was originally molded and cast as a full set of dentures with separate gums and individual teeth that will line up to every single one of the gum openings. What we ended up doing was taking that whole denture set and just shrinking them with a product called Shrink It. That is sold by Brick in the Yard, and it's like a polyurethane, and you add some water to it, amazingly enough, and it will take the item that's cast and shrink it down. It took
to proportion. I mean, like, it clearly does have to be proportion, but it shrinks it equally, right?
Well, if you put it in a like a dehumidifier, it'll do it a little bit better than just kind of leaving it out and about. When you leave it out and about, it'll be kind of a little bit wonky, like here and there. But for the most part, like the dehumidifier will totally just all together shrink that whole thing down.
Wow.
It works really well. I mean, the stuff is very brittle when you take it out. It almost has the consistency of like a hard-boiled egg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really rubbery and really like delicate, But after a while, it'll shrink down to this weird kind of polyurethane. I actually have a mold that I had done for this frame, and I shrunk a frame down. So this is the end result of that Shrink It stuff after all of the water is taken out of it and everything.
Wow. So when you start with it, it's very silicone-y now. Is it that same texture when you start?
No, when you start, it has that weird egg consistency.
Okay.
Where you can literally just peel it apart, and it's very satisfying to actually like just kind of break it,
Yeah.
But after all of everything is gone out of it, it's just rubber polyurethane.
Wow. How cool.
It's like grown up shrinky dink.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
I gotta get some.
It's really fun.
So wait, tell everybody the name of the group in Texas that does this.
It's called Brick in the Yard.
Brick in the Yard. Okay.
Yep. And they sell a plethora of molding and casting materials and everything you could possibly imagine. They're a great company, great customer service, really decent prices. I get a majority of my stuff from there. So,
so it's the same type of thing like Smooth On would be. They've kind of got everything that Smooth On would have. And
yeah, they go through a company called Polytech, I believe.
Okay.
But it's like a smaller company than what Smooth On would be, you know.
Got it. Okay.
But
Wow.
very, very cool. I love that place.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So now, Mike,
I will check them out.
are you classically trained? Like, did you go to school for this, or are you self-taught?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've been doing art for such a long time. I mean, growing up, it started with like drawing, you know, painting, working a little bit with clay, but like not too much. I went to school for graphic design. I was a graphic designer for a long time. And the graphic design kind of lent to photography. I started doing like CDs for like local bands and everything like that.
Okay.
And the photography led into sculpting things to be able to photograph for working with like all the graphic design. I wanted everything done myself, you know, like I wanted to be able to make the stuff, photograph it, design the everything.
Right.
And after a while of just spending years and years like designing, I really wanted to get more hands-on, so I started jumping into sculpting again, which I hadn't done for a long time, and I haven't stopped. So
Good move.
It is the best medium.
I love it. I love it.
I think in 3D the same way. My daughters are big 2D artists, and I look at what they do, and I kind of shake my head. I'm like, I don't even want to try that. But the same way, the other direction, they don't want to do 3D, but where it just that's just my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Mickey, you were a graphic artist. You still are, but you went to school for graphic arts as well, right?
No, I am straight out of high school, all self-taught. Everything I do is all I've learned from books and watching. Back when they didn't have YouTube, but actually, because I had to read books. But it's like I actually just evolved with everything. I actually
School
evolved.
of Hard Knocks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I used to stay at work, and when I was in Phoenix, I would just stay after work and use that computer because you know to have your own computer at that time was like a pipe dream, and so I would just stay there until like probably 2 o'clock in the morning and just keep on learning and keep on doing like Photoshop and Illustrator, and I was just obsessive about it. And I think that's the one thing that is also probably out there. Like I wanted to ask Michael, is like, would you consider yourself obsessive about this?
I mean, I don't know. I think it just turns into it eventually. Like you do it enough, and it just becomes. You wake up every day and you wonder what you're going to make today. You know, and I mean, that's exactly how it works, and it just snowballs into just this is a way of life. This is how we do it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, they say you have to put in your 10,000 hours, but I did that in my early 20s. So it's like, then you finally get to that threshold of like, you know, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What am I going to, I eventually want to be the guy who I want to be painting in a shed when I'm 90. Like that's,
oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, from what you do, I mean, like just looking at the things that you do, I mean, the level of detail is probably way past where everybody else would probably stop. Oh. I mean, like it's incredible. It's incredible, and the imagination also is super impressive. So, like, do you have anybody that you were your inspirations, or is this something that you just truly wanted to make?
I mean, inspiration has come from all different sorts, like throughout my entire life, and it's kind of like built up almost like a just like a plethora of artists behind me that I really, really admire. The Quay brothers are big influences on me. Joel Peter Witkin, Giger, you know. I don't know. I mean, like anytime that I see anything that's, you know, remotely close to, you know, like a full anatomical sort of creation, or somebody that uses, you know, the musculature like correctly, you know, it doesn't matter like what field they're actually in for their art. You know, I mean, I love Rick Baker and like all the makeup stuff, and, you know, Dick Smith and all that kind of stuff, you know. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like sculptural. It's all just kind of like the artists themselves, you know, what they can produce. So many. Yeah.
I follow like Jordu Shell and others like that, and the beauty of what I see in this piece is that it's alien, but it's correct. And there's so many things where I've tried to make kind of an alien form, but it doesn't translate. And then when you see this, everything's in its right place. I think there's something to it. I know I'm not really explaining it very well, but it's like the neck wrinkles, the jowls, the setting of the eyes and forehead wrinkles and stuff like that. Everything translates really well to me. And I just anyway.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, it's really just a matter of knowing like anatomy and where things should fall. Like where more muscle should be, like within like the actual skull. Everything I do generally starts off with a skull, and then I kind of build off of that, so at least that way you get like a good base as far as like where proportions are supposed to go and the overall look and shape of like the character that you're doing, I mean, so yeah, everything starts off as a skull for the most part.
So what you're working on now, you're starting with a skull? Okay, so this is the first. Okay, I love it. All right, so this is I've seen so many really good sculptors, and clearly you're one. When it comes to like a starting point, now we're subtractive, so we don't we're kind of a little different, right, Paulie? And we're kind of going in, but we're kind of envisioning the skull, right? Every bit of the way, right? Like trying to, add the skin in our minds before we get there. But so even if it's an alien form and it's got the eyes on the side of the head or whatever, it's still a skull. It's still a bone. Okay.
Yeah,
love
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Okay. I mean, it gives you just a nice base to work off of, and it doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to be all sorts of detail or whatever. It can just be like the rough shape. But, if you're going to do a head, you might as well do a skull.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can go down, you can really get out of proportion if you don't have the structure underneath to rely on.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned that the hard way a couple times when working with clay. That's cool. That is so cool. All right, Mickey, keep that picture there. Now I'll go that road.
Yeah, I'm going to use some of this too. Hang on.
You've got too much nose there, Paul.
Hey, those in glass houses run shows. Okay?
not you, you freak.
I'm working on it, Mickey. It's a slow process.
So Michael, you've got, and we'll see more of this clearly in our little episode today. But you've got so many examples where you're, where they're even recently all the way through to long time dead, or folks who met with a very poor end.
Right.
So yeah, like this little friend.
Yeah.
And just the colors, the hair, I'm sure it unsettles a lot of people, but this is an absolute beautiful sculpture. Do you when it comes to like I guess your specialty, I'll put it that way. Do you just gravitate towards the dead body generally, or is it kind of?
They're fun to do. They're not as fun as old people or any of the elderly sculpts that I do, but I do enjoy like a lot of the coloring that goes into it, and I think that's kind of like the biggest attraction for me is how colorful the dead actually are, and in all sorts of situations they turn all sorts of different colors, and I mean just the textures and everything. It's really beautiful. I mean, I never looked at it as morbid or anything like that.
Right.
It's nature. I mean, that's how it goes.
Right.
It's like if you get a big bruise, to watch the progression of the bruise, you get every color in the rainbow.
Yeah.
The blues, the yellows, the greens.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, see, I love your style. It's got this. It's almost. I don't know if this is the right word, but whimsical.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not overly. Like I look at that and it would scare the hell out of me, but at the same time, I'm like, look at that guy. Like, if that guy could talk, I'd have a conversation with him.
Right. Right. Yeah, like they're a little bit more like caricature,
Exactly.
you know, with more exaggerated features. You know, bigger noses, bigger ears.
The nice round eye. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and this guy would fit in at like the haunted mansion at Disneyland.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly where that piece had originated from. I was invited to do a sculpture for this art show in Texas that was haunted mansion based, and I wanted to do the caretaker. And
okay.
So that's where that came from. And then, you know, every once in a while we'll do like these variants of the caretaker, and you know, either different mountings or just kind of like the way that it's presented. You know, and he's really grown in like popularity and all sorts of stuff like that, which is incredible. You know.
I swear, when I went through that ride as a kid, the one thing that stuck out in my mind was that guy standing there with his little skinny dog,
right?
Shivering. And I mean, that's the one thing I remember from that whole ride.
Yeah.
So funny.
I love that.
Lenny Calvin is checking in. Nice to see you, Lenny.
Yeah, Dean.
And he's actually dying to know about that base he's working with.
The base.
As far sculpting base.
What I'm sculpting on here?
Yeah.
It's really just two flanges and a metal pipe, but threaded, with just dowel sticking in the middle of it. And it just kind of hangs out just right on top of it. Keeps everything nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. It's got a little place for things to kind of sit.
Nice.
But it's just a pipe fitting. That's it. This one's of course covered in like silicone and God only knows what. But, there's like hair everywhere and all sorts of good stuff. But yeah, that's all it is.
There you go.
Yeah, Lenny is the master of stands when it comes to propping up the produce. I am the master of the beanbag. That's just about all I do. Prop it on there.
That sounds terrible, Paul.
Hey, it's all in the delivery, all right? There was no with my beanbag. But yeah, Lenny, if you missed it, we were actually talking a little earlier about that, about how I want to get that threaded base with the flange on there, so that I can almost like not a lazy Susan, but I guess it would be a lazy Susan, right? If you can spin them like that.
Yeah.
And this is all Home Depot visit, right? I mean, at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably pick everything up you needed for like under $30.
Yeah. So Dean Murray's also checking in, and he has a really interesting comment. Hard to carve an alien when you really haven't seen one. You know,
how do you know that? How do you know?
And so he's talking about like how many dragons have you seen? So actually, let me pull this up really quickly.
Oh, good point.
That thing.
I've seen one.
So here it is. Now replicate it.
Yeah,
that was a project and a half right there. We were really happy with it though.
Yeah, because you don't really get, because it's. Right. This is is this a different one or is this the same one? Right.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So it actually has a turtle body, right?
Yeah. It's like a dragon turtle sort of thing. It was commissioned by a client, and he's actually an amazing illustrator, and he did this guy up and wanted it done, so we did it for him. Yeah, it's all in resin actually.
It's amazing to me that I mean, to Dean's point, you always have to bring it back to something familiar to what we've potentially seen, or something humanoid or something animalistic that, but then kind of take it to a next step. So that's the beauty of like when you have it be coordinated to what a human face looks like from an alien, and have it be Oh yeah, that's relatable. I can see that is, whatever it is, but it's all tied to something only us know. Because I'm sure there's, in 50 dimensions from now, 10,000 planets away, it's something we would never even recognize. But
Yeah.
But for what we know here on Earth, that's the magic, right?
That's right.
Yeah, super impressive work. I mean, there's, you talk about like doing the old and actually this is a picture I wanted to show. So I mean, like, so the how big are these? I mean, like they fit in the palm of your hand, right?
Yeah, I mean those are probably about the size of my thumb, just right here.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, they're really tiny, really, really tiny. Yeah, at one point I wanted to see how small I could actually sculpt, like a kind of realistic face, head, whatever. And yeah, it got about that big.
Wow.
Yeah, these are called tiny Peters.
Tiny Peters.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Beautiful.
Yeah, I have the silicone version of it right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A silicone tiny Peter?
Yeah. So.
Oh, he is little. Oh my God.
That's even smaller than I expected.
He's squishy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, very squishy. But punch air and everything like that. I mean, we even do the gore on the bottom.
Yeah.
All hand painted or whatever. So
are these for sale on your website as well?
Yes, they are. I think we have a couple left. But every once in a while we'll do like a batch of like 12 or 24 of them.
Okay. So this is nice because you can just bring them wherever you go.
That's right. Some people do.
Pocket buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a single cast, or do you have almost like an ice cube tray full of like?
We do like 5 at a time, for casting.
Wow.
Which really isn't bad. I mean, they're full silicone pours, so you just kind of like pour them and walk away.
Okay.
We don't have to rotocast or anything like that with them. So, and that's what a majority of the pieces are. They're all rotocast by hand.
Now, by rotocast, that's when you turn it over and over. You keep.
Yeah.
You're always like doing this, right?
You're doing this. Yeah.
Moving up.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes about maybe an hour and a half or whatever to rotocast just like the skin, the silicone skin.
Okay.
And then we'll do like a foam fill on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Fill it in.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the mold.
Oh, okay.
Peters. So yeah, 5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yep. Thank you, dude.
I might
That's
have to
beautiful.
start taking trips out to Springfield and take classes.
I know.
So
Mike,
It's a stone throw away.
yeah. So Michael, you're just used your fingers so far. So
Yep.
what's your next tool like once you go from that, or are you still just going to be adding once you get the skull kind of?
As far as next tool goes, it'll be another probably jump way too soon into detail. Which is this one. I love this guy right here.
Oh yeah, that's a nice. Okay.
Yep. And but yeah, I usually use my thumbs and build up with my hands as much as I can.
Smart move.
So for anybody that wants some of Michael Perry's work, I've actually put a link straight to his shop in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
If you're on YouTube, it's a pinned comment. So yeah, definitely check it out. I mean, this is incredible work. And it really doesn't do it justice, like to see a photograph of it, because it's like when it was in your hand, it has such different dimension to it. So it actually excited me more about that.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's just the detail is mind-boggling.
Oh, thanks, man. Everything is hand done, hand painted. I mean, again, we're not like a factory or anything like that. We're just 2 people. We try to put out as much work as we possibly can. And we want to make sure that the quality stays with it. I mean, we don't want to cut corners. We try to do everything so that it's making people happy and they're getting what they see on the site. What you see is what you get, pretty much. So
Yeah.
So the painting, I got a question about that. So these are silicone or resin when they come out, right? Or are they primarily silicone?
For the most part, they're mostly silicone, but we have been getting into more resin casting.
Okay.
Just because a lot of the people like silicone's really expensive. First off,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous, and not everybody has like, the huge chunk of change to do that. So we've been trying to get into more of like the resin stuff, which is really cheaper. But yeah, I mean, primarily we're silicone based. I mean, a lot of people will ask if I can do like latex products, but we don't do any latex here in the studio at all.
Are you painting? And you're clearly doing each one individually from a paint perspective, but are you using a specific type of paint for? Is there a latex paint versus a resin paint, or is it the same kind of process?
Well, as far as like pigmenting, the actual casting that's coming out of it, there's silicone pigments and polyurethane pigments. Polyurethane for resin, and like the oil-based silicone pigments. That's primarily what we paint with, and it starts off with a base of either you can use several different things. There's Psycho Paint, which is like a two-part paint base. We generally use just GE1, the silicone clear GE1, and it works really, really well. It's cheap. You can get it at Home Depot.
Oh,
and you just mix it up with naphtha, and you can create your paint base out of that as well.
Okay.
Some people can use like the actual casting silicone that they cast the piece with. You can use that. All the colors are mixed up individually, and we usually go through about roughly around 20 different colors to go into a piece.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So look at your little thumb guy, the little Peter.
Yep.
So what from a time perspective, what are you looking at to paint each individual Peter, plus a punch of the hair and stuff? I mean, each one's got to be a little bit of time, right?
I mean, that's kind of hard to say just because we do those in such big batches,
Okay.
Individually, I would say probably maybe an hour or two, something like that, or probably 2 hours from start to finish for like.
Wow.
That's really time consuming for something.
That is crazy.
It is. But I mean, with the Peters, we treat them like they're just regular sized busts. I mean, they still get all of the same little skin speckles. They get airbrushed, they get everything. It's just like tiny scale. So,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so you don't want to carry them around after all, because you don't want anything to happen to that thing.
They're fairly durable.
Okay.
Matt, I was just about to treat you like one of my children at dinner time and say, pick up your fork. Pick up your sculpting tool.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, Dad, come on.
Yeah.
I just start daydreaming. Sorry.
Okay. I know, I'm telling you, it's the same. I'm having the same thing here. Again, I didn't tell you guys, but there's a $15,000 prize for the person that gets closest to finishing tonight. So,
is it really?
I want to make sure
funded by you, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Why do you think I'm going so fast?
There we go. Okay. Oh, I love this guy.
So this was obviously a seasonal piece.
Yep.
I'm gonna get me one of these. I love this guy.
Oh man.
You've had him on your site recently, obviously, but
yep. Yeah, those were.
You couldn't be a better snowman. Someday I want to make one like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually going to be coming out with a lot of variants of that one. We were thinking about maybe doing one for each holiday or something like that, but it's pretty versatile. We're going to have some flesh variant ones coming out. You can kind of do anything to these little guys, and you know, I really dig them.
I think it's great. I actually, you know, it was funny while you were doing it. When you were talking about variants, I was thinking if it was like a blob of skin and it was a finger coming out instead of the carrot.
Oh my God! Right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that. A little bent, broken, dirty, bloody finger.
Yep.
Little finger.
Yep.
Don't pick your nose.
And what I thought was impressive about this one, I mean, especially because that's why I say it was seasonal, obviously because of winter, but your work tends to deal in like flesh tones, so like, you know, tans, browns, dark, dingy, whereas this is actually, you know, more like it's more like the macabre snowman.
Right.
So, but I love like the blues and the purples in it, and then, you know, obviously the orange carrot of a nose.
Oh my God.
That's what really stood out to me in this. It was almost like opposite, but yet an extension of your work. So this is beautiful.
I mean, we're actually trying to maybe like broaden what we put out there. I mean, I know that the studio is known for, you know, all of like the dead bodies and the decay and the browns and the tans and everything. But I mean, you know, we can definitely do more. And we want to do more, you know. So this was our first kind of like test to see, you know, if people were going to be into that kind of a style, a more cartoony, colorful sort of style, you know.
And is it taken off the way you hope?
It did. It really, really did. And I'm really happy with it. You know, it was fun to paint. It was so different. So it was almost kind of like it put a little bit more life like into things. It wasn't so gloomy and just kind of, you know, I mean, after a while you see so many shades of brown and like purple and you know, you got to mix like black into everything. I mean, it's just kind of like, it was very refreshing to do something different.
I mean, this one seems almost friendly and alive, so that much different. So
right, yes,
and it has your trademark in it. I mean, those teeth are, you know, definitely you. So
just the wrinkles are so amazing. The texture in between the wrinkles, you know, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a lot of time spent making each wrinkle flow. That's a beautiful thing.
And Matt, the craziest part of this one is actually the size of a thumbnail. So that's how good he got at sculpting really small. No, I don't even know how big is that. Well, that's a couple inches.
It's not too bad. It's altogether maybe 8 inches.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
okay.
for the whole thing.
That sits nicely on your Christmas table. There we go.
This is the first casting. It kind of like pulls out all the crap from the mold after you do like the first molding. But yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that's a nice size.
Yeah, not too bad.
That's a centerpiece for your table, people at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
We're gonna have more of those at some point.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, obviously, you have the Elephant Man poster behind you, so like that's what I see in here. I see like if I was to look at a close up at an elephant's eye, it has a lot of the same texture.
Sunken with those wrinkles and absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I overkill the wrinkles all the time. It's
they're the most fun. I gotta admit, they really the most
are.
fun.
They really are. I'm already jumping into them right now. I mean, like this thing is barely even blocked out. I'm jumping into it.
You can't help yourself.
Yeah.
Actually am too. On the eyes themselves. How could you not? It's really that's what I
want to do. Right?
Yeah. Look, I like wrinkles. All right, people.
Yeah, Cheryl loves the color and the details and the teeth. Wait till you see this next one I'm going to show you. But actually, Dean Murray actually has to Matt, nice brow on what you're working on. So
thank you, Doctor. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes.
Dean Murray, just so you know, Michael, we got a good following of our pumpkin pals. Well, it's a terrible thing to call people. Fellow pumpkin pals. You're good. But yeah. Thank you, Dean. That's impressed. Thank you. Appreciate that.
We've got some amazing artists that support us. So
that's great.
Very lucky.
Very cool.
And so your human teeth that you would do are very impressive. But then when you see what it's like when it goes crazy, is something like this.
Oh my god.
That thing is horrifying.
I have questions about this one too because I can't put it together. Did you put the teeth and the eyes in after the cast?
Yeah, we always do. Yeah. All our gums are all silicone, and like teeth and eyes are always resin.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything fits in kind of together. We'll make the mold so that we have the spots already, available for those things. So we're not in there carving everything out.
Right.
I don't know how that gets done. How you cast something and leave a negative space for something to go back in.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times it's just surgery, really. I mean, we're sitting there, we're using an X-Acto and a blade and literally ripping foam and silicone like out from like the mouth area to create like the throat and like all of the inside. So, even though we'll have like a full on, just casted piece or whatever, I mean, we'll still have to go in there and cut it all up in order to do something like that.
Wow.
But that was part of the puppet that we had done. And he could have his mouth open and close and head back and forth and everything like that. So, yeah.
Come on. I feel like I'm slacking talking to Michael. Like I'm just not doing enough. How big was that? Now that must have been gigantic.
Well, like the head itself is a little bit oversized, but altogether, I think for that puppet thing, it was probably a good, maybe 4.5 feet.
Wow.
Maybe something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Was that used in a movie or at like one of those horror theme parks?
Yeah, it was at a theme park out in Ohio. Yeah, it was a place called Terror Town. We did some work for those guys out there. But yeah, I mean the piece altogether was maybe 4.5 feet tall. It didn't have legs. We had like little nubs. It was really gross. I mean, it had a crotch, we had pubic hair in it, and like it was awful. It was really disgusting. Angela ended up punching the pubic hair, so yeah.
Oh, that is awful.
Yeah, it was gross. It was gross.
Yeah, this is super cool.
It's hard to put that on your resume. A pubic hair puncher,
Yeah. Yes.
That's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff like is I was showing my wife when you agreed to do the show, I was showing my wife some of your work, and I think at the time she was chomping away on a salad, and she said, okay, put it away. And I was so impressed that she was repulsed by this enough so that she was like not wanting to eat. It's a beautiful thing. It's a hell of a compliment.
I mean, I honestly don't blame her. That thing is disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
So what do you use to make it so it looks wet, like his mouth looks like he's dripping? Is that just part of the paint process?
I mean, it's a solvent that you can add to your paint base. It's called a Novox gloss.
Okay, gloss.
And and that'll create that nice, super shiny, completely looking wet, sort of yeah.
Okay.
It kind of smells like cat pee a little bit, but it's well worth it.
Matt, I can totally see you doing this. Mindy, come look at this. And then you pull up this.
Oh my God. Yeah. She would not be eating the rest of the week. Wow. Holy crap.
So like, where does this start? Like, I'm obviously seeing the end result of this, but like, where do you start on something like this?
Well, I mean, everything starts right like this. I mean, everything is sculpted out,
Yeah.
It's all sculpted, then it's molded and cast, rotocast by hand, foam filled. And then after that's all done, like the initial casting is done and everything like that. That's when we'll go back in, take out the eyes, take out the mouth, cast a set of gums, a tongue, all the teeth and everything like that, start getting those in. And then just kind of gluing everything into the walls of like, you know, the bottom jaw and like top of the roof of the mouth and everything like that. And it just kind of builds, you know, the hair work is usually last just because it gets friggin' everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially the pubes, right?
Especially the pubes. You can't get those out of anything.
Good Lord.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just a process, but we've done it for you know, so many pieces now that it's just kind of like a standard of how it goes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what goes next.
Yeah.
So the colors are so repulsive in his mouth that it looks almost infected and like, you know, pussy and dripping.
Right.
And is that just trial and error? You kind of let's go with the pus color. I know which one to pick at this point.
All right, shelf pus.
I mean, I don't know. I'll try to stick with basic corpse type colors. I mean, I have like a standard palette that I try to like mix all up as far as all the colors that are involved. And I mean, there's a shit ton of colors that are involved with, especially with all the extremely decomp pieces, you know.
Okay.
And everything is just kind of layered on top of layers, you know. It's just little specks of paint definitely add up to certain colors, you know. And when we do paint, what we'll end up doing is once the casting is done and ready, everything's cut out and whatever, we'll start with like a little bit of a flecking of paint.
Oh,
and,
like stipplings, a little tiny bits. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, we'll literally take like the brush and we'll just kind of flick the brush, you know.
Okay. Okay.
All over the piece, and that'll be done with maybe about like 12 to 15 colors, something like that. So that it kind of builds up and you can have that kind of translucency throughout the piece, you know. It's awesome with the silicone because just the translucency in it.
I bet, yeah, because when you're putting it on silicone, it's translucent. So every layer you get on there, almost like it's not another color. It's
right.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So it just builds up, and I mean, when it gets to those really, really dark spots, like around like the nose and like around the mouth area and everything, I mean, that's a lot of layer of paint, you know.
Yeah.
For the most part, we don't usually go in with like a strict black at the end, but in cases like this, sometimes they're needed, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Way deep down in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, was this commission piece for the horror show type thing?
No, that was actually that piece was actually one of my very first sculpts that I had done, and cast in silicone and everything. I had made that. Neat. Yeah, I've been making this piece for maybe 6 years, something like that. And there's been so many variations of it. But yeah, I mean, every once in a while I'll do something different to it, or you know, they never look exactly the same. Like none of them look exactly the same.
That's the best, though. You never want them to look identical, like you said. Then it would just be a factory.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you make your own eyes?
Yes. 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 Angela's actually over here making our next batch.
All right.
She does such an awesome job.
I'm driving out. I think I need an apprenticeship. I gotta figure some stuff out. That whole process to me is mind-boggling. Making they're acrylic, right? Are they acrylic or?
We do resin.
Resin eyes.
Yep. But yeah, they're extremely time-consuming. But she does such an awesome job with them.
Lenny mentioned something about using monster clay and the process to make it smooth. There we go. Thanks, Mickey. Do you, and I've seen this a few times, and I've actually tried it a couple of times related to wrinkles, but I know from a smooth perspective, do you ever lay on in the sculpt process like the saran wrap or plastic wrap and use tools to kind of help is that part of your process as well?
Yeah, I mean, I have done that in the past. You can, you know, it's different strokes for different folks, you know.
Yeah.
I'll usually kind of skip the plastic wrap and smooth everything out and these look terrible at this point, but it's like a filter, like reticulated foam.
Yeah, sure.
And this thing is beat to shit at this point, but you know, I'll usually smooth things out to give it like a nice rough smooth.
Okay.
With just these. If you want to get really, really smooth, I'll use lighter fluid.
Okay.
And if you want to get super, like, blow your face off smooth, I will use the torch.
Okay. Lighter fluid, then the torch, right? One after the other?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Yeah.
And that will just, like, light it up, right?
It will.
Oh, my
It will. So be careful. Yeah. I can also do, like, a kind of a harder sort of softening up of everything with just using rubbing alcohol and that sponge again.
Okay.
I mean, there's different levels of smooth that you can get, but for the most part, as a finishing, I'll use lighter fluid.
Okay, and Monster Clay is pretty acceptable for all of that. I mean, because it's like a waxy, and it does so well, uniform melting, and okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Just be careful with it. All this flammable stuff and torches. And I don't want to get sued here.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, exactly.
Right on. So, I mean, so let's go around the room. So we're almost an hour into the show. So we're on the back nine of the show. We have a half hour left. I told you, Michael, that this goes fast. So
that's crazy.
But you actually have a lot of progress on what you're working on. So do you want to show that up close?
A little bit.
So awesome.
Oh my God. Okay.
Not much. I mean, you know, it's certainly got a ways to go, but
sure. I love the sharp cheekbones. That thing is looking very very dead. But the sharp cheekbone and like almost when the skin dries and it tans almost onto the and does that stretch. I'm already seeing that, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's
right on.
Anyway,
very cool.
I'm gushing. I'm a fanboy over here.
Oh, come on now. Everybody else's looks awesome though.
Let's see if Paul's
really
got.
Nice.
Oh, hello. I'm working on it. Yeah.
I love those eye bags.
Yeah. So impressive.
Trying to go as fast as I can.
Yeah.
I want to have something to show. You know, I get you.
So nice. So Paul, are you gonna put like that eye in there, or are you gonna keep that kind of dead?
I think I'm gonna kind of keep it like a lazy eye, like it's already locked shut. You know, it's kind of falling apart. Like if he opens it, it'll fall right on the ground. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep digging in the eyes as far as I can get them to go. I think that's my favorite part of doing anything macabre, really. Anything that looks sinister has nice deep eye sockets.
Yep.
That's where it all starts.
So we actually have a question of someone who didn't see us at the beginning of the show. Yeah, the wheel was kind of loaded today with two things actually. Yeah, so a dead zombie. That was it. That was everything on the board. So can you imagine that we're doing a dead zombie today, right?
It's a tribute show.
Yes.
This is a Grayhouse Studios show tonight. We are trying to live in the shoes of Harper and Michael tonight. Just being, you know, this is the beauty of it.
Oh, I feel so loved. Thanks, guys.
So let's see what you got, Matt.
All right. Let me spray this guy's face here. Give him a little bit of hydration. I live in Arizona, so all right. So let's see if I can get some focus.
Really?
So my idea is, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with the eyes yet, but as it stands right now, he's gonna have kind of a lower set of really jagged teeth. I think I'll pull this lip back down, but he's gonna have. I'm anticipating maybe a slit open for the milky white eyes, and then just maybe a couple top teeth showing way up high, but everything else is just going to be bottom teeth. some gums, and take it from there. So
Really nice, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Mickey, let's see what you got.
All right, here we go. Look at this.
hey,
Going back, if you remember the old Senor Wences.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't have the eyes worked in yet, but I have the mouth going.
there you go.
And yeah, there it is. There it is. Yes, I'll have that on Instagram tonight.
There we go. Make sure you put lipstick on him.
Yes.
Call him Mr. Upsy Downsy.
So Michael, do you get commissions, some of your work, I mean, is clearly like Hollywood stuff. Do you get commissions to be, I know you've done some films and stuff. Do you do work for horror films or stuff like that, or even forensic shows? I mean, I would hire you if I ran my own damn forensic show. I'd have you doing all the damn dead bodies after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly wish that we did get more of that kind of stuff. I would love to be in that kind of an industry, But the whole deal with that is I feel that, in order to be in the kind of motion picture industry, you really got to be out where all the action is, which is in either California or in some sort of huge metropolis, and I'm more of
Atlanta. Yeah.
So I have a hard time with big cities in general. So
okay.
I think that's why we don't really come across a lot of those opportunities, is because I'm not like out in that area. But I'd like to be, like doing that kind of stuff, but it's just not conducive to where we are,
Yeah.
I feel like you're an untapped resource on this side of the country, though, because a lot of movies do get filmed in Boston.
Yeah.
And what a resource to have, somebody that could, instead of having it shipped all the way from California, you could have somebody make it local.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if anybody's interested,
you know a guy.
Yeah, we got a guy right here.
Yeah, I worked for a little bit of time in Atlanta, and I know that's like a huge hub for movies, and I think The Walking Dead's filmed there, or used to be, and a lot of other really interesting things are happening there because California is so, I'll call it restrictive, related to taxes, and shooting a movie costs a lot more there. But that's East Coast, effectively.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
True.
Right down the street.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's moved away from here, actually, and especially with COVID and everything. There's anything even going on. I mean,
yeah, Mickey's in LA.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. So,
oh man,
yeah. So it's. I remember at one point there was a lot of stuff that moved up to Vancouver, and it was like during the time of I think it was Life of Pi was where the movie itself got all these awards, but the special effects company that did it went bankrupt, and they didn't get a lot of money or something. So there was something with that. It was actually online, but there was a lot of that stuff, and so a lot of stuff moved away from here. And like even like Breaking Bad, I think it was supposed to be kind of set in Riverside, California, and it was obviously in New Mexico. So a lot of stuff's moved out of here. There's a lot of people that have left here. Yeah, so it probably I don't know if it'll I'm sure it'll come back in some form, but yeah, it's not what it used to be. I know a lot of people that are in the entertainment industry that do a lot of the motion graphics and stuff like that. So they're all pretty gainfully employed, but I don't think that it's stuff that's around here. A lot of like there's a lot of seasonal stuff like Super Bowl and stuff like that. So it's kind of one of those things. They go project to project. So yeah, it's a very interesting business. And I tried to get into it for a while, and I was like, oh my God, this is like, I mean, you're in a project, you're out of a project, and then you're looking for a project. So that's like we were talking about that yesterday a little bit about these projects. Like I think that was one of Matt's big anxieties about being a full-time artist, was like knowing where the work is. It's like sometimes there's work and sometimes there isn't. So obviously you've how long have you had your studio, Michael?
I've been doing it. It's so hard to say because I've been doing it kind of like as a hobby for maybe for the first 5 years, and then I started getting a little bit more serious about it. Altogether, I've had Grayhouse going since 2006, but you know, as far as getting this kind of stuff out into the public and everything like that, probably the past maybe only like 6 years or something, five or 6 years, yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's still relatively fresh, you know. I mean, but right now we just started doing it full time. Which is incredibly stressful because, you know, you wake up every day and you're just, you know, is this stuff going to sell? What do we have to make?
Right.
Have to get in the age of COVID, no less, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, you know, not the best time to like start and break out on your own, but hey, you know, we all got to start at some point. I'm not getting any younger.
Do you do trade shows and stuff too? Like
I used to when they were around.
Right.
I love doing conventions and stuff. They were fantastic.
Are there a lot in Mass?
There's a few. ScareCon will usually come around here, and we had Rock and Shock for a long time, but they ended up kind of closing up shop. I think I don't think they had it last year, but the year before was their last one. But, you know, and they have Comic-Cons and stuff like that going on. I don't really get much out to Boston area. I think the furthest I go is kind of Worcester.
Worcester,
hey.
$1.25 pop.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, this show was born out of COVID, so it's like I think that we've talked about this before on other episodes that it's for artists. It just seemed like, okay, I'll just do this now, and I'll just kind of move on, kind of seamlessly, or I have more time to do this, or you know, it's like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. I have to travel anymore to, you know, so I have more time to do this.
Yeah.
But it's fun, but it's finding new places to new audiences too, because I think Paul and I, you know, in this quote unquote season, right? We would get commissioned to go do places, you know, go do carvings live and stuff, and a lot of that was very different this year. So thank God for the show, because we now get a chance to talk to Michael and Grayhouse and be able to. And you know, I don't know. We'll call it glasses half full. We found a fun way to make the best out of a bad situation. But from an artist's perspective, you're right. It's like you know, you're already gonna carve or paint or sculpt or doing something anyway, and now it's like no distractions. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
When we first started the show, when we had Mark and Chris on, well, it wasn't first started, but when we had Mark and Chris Evan on, Mark's what did Mark say? This is the COVID renaissance.
Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I've never sculpted or carved more in my life. Usually by this point, the season, like Matt said, the season ends, and I kind of put the tools down for at least till after New Year's. I usually don't touch anything.
Yeah?
I just kind of get burnt out. I will, but then usually around January, February, I'll start with the monster clay and stuff, and then as it gets warmer, and then all of a sudden I'm not down in the basement every 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden doing something else, and then, oh, hey, I haven't touched my tools in a month. Like, wow, that hasn't happened in quite some time. You know,
that's a good thing, though.
Very thankful for it.
Yeah, we stumbled upon each other back in March, April, whatever it was, Paul, and literally haven't had until Thanksgiving, haven't had a week where we didn't carve together.
Right.
And I'm just like, you know, talk about Thanksgiving. I was completely thankful for it, because it's been helping me hone my skills and get better each week, and try more and be more courageous. And like, you know, anytime you're around really good sculptors, you want to keep up with the Joneses and try more and do more and push yourself. And I know I wouldn't have done that without this show, or without, you know, being able to hang out. So
yeah. And
anyway, I'm gonna start crying. So sorry. I won't cry.
Yeah, it's so impressive to see. Oh my gosh, like look at Michael's, like, it keeps on, every time I look at it, that's more dimension
That
to it.
jawline, That jawline is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I know people like that.
I think he's actually doing me.
And that lump on the back of his neck. Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Yeah, this is cool.
We got to hang out more often. See, you know, we're all making beautiful stuff together. You know, we'll just even if it's offline, we should.
I agree. I'm down.
Oh, the carbon silence.
So Mickey, I don't know if you have it in your arsenal. Okay, I was gonna say, I want to see. Do you have the witch? His big witch on there. I'm not sure if you grab that.
I'll look that up.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
Well, that's that. So you've done big, massive puppets, Michael, like bigger than life size in some cases, right?
Yeah, I mean that big with all the teeth. That was, I mean, if it had actual legs, it would certainly be like a fairly enormous beast. But since we just kind of gave it little nubs, it's not so big. But I think just the shape in general for that piece was just kind of a little bit oversized for everything,
Now, was that also for the haunted house?
Yeah.
World? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Fits perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, because they were doing like a laboratory scene, so we wanted to do kind of like some mutants that were like in there.
Is there any video of the toothy guy puppet?
I think there is. I think it is when it's still being built. There's some video of it.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
So if we don't have it all here, Mickey has a bunch of stuff pulled down, but if we don't have it all here, I absolutely encourage everybody who's watching to go to Grayhouse Studios and check out. He's got a ton of stuff that not only shows multiple angles of it, but great videos of the 360 view of the stuff that includes like the punched hair, the skin, kind of that waxy look to the skin that just is amazing to me. Like, I don't know how you pull that off. Like, how like when dead bodies start getting kind of almost wax, they look like wax. You somehow that's all latex, right?
Well,
or silicone. Silicone.
Yeah, most of it is all silicone. The only time that we have used latex is to create maybe some of the rot within some of the body. A lot of like the kind of sticky-ish tendril sort of things. We'll do latex on that and kind of pour it on like a sheet, let it dry, and you can like use your fingers and run that over the latex, and you get all those really nice, like kind of like disgusting sort of like thin blobs. Yeah.
Beautiful and disgusting in the same sentence. I love that.
Yeah, totally. The only issue with that is cure inhibition, because anything latex touching silicone, if it's not already cured or whatever, it's going to have some cure inhibition.
Oh, okay. It'll never cure then. It'll liquid.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So like you'll either have to coat it, which we usually do with like a clear coat first, or that GE silicone one. I mean, we use that for everything as a paint base, as a glue. It has very, very minimal cure inhibition. I don't think I've seen it with anything, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one downfall of that is if there's no airflow to the area that it has like a big glob of silicone one on it, it'll either take a really long time to finish curing, or it won't cure at all if there's zero air that's allowed to get in there, penetrate it. So, you kind of have to like play your cards right as far as what materials you're using for what and how they're going on and how they're going to be adhered.
A lot of trial and error, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yep.
Yeah. Every time you make a trial and error, you're like, oh God, that was expensive.
Yep.
Oh, because I've tried to cast a couple of small things, and it's like strike two. Well, that was about $40 worth of material right there. That's not good.
Yep.
I've done the same thing, Paul. I made a pumpkin out of clay, and then it was full size with two faces on it, and then I cast it, thinking I'll just make tons of copies of this thing. But I didn't read a step. I don't know what I was doing. Next thing you know, I'm like $100 and something in the hole with a really crappy mold that I can probably use maybe once and then have to clean it up 50 times. Yeah.
Oh man.
I know, but I know you get better at it the more you use it. But my God, it's expensive.
Man. Well, if you guys ever need any help molding anything, just let us know.
All right, like I said, I'm on my way after the show.
Yeah. Well, you can do it on your apprenticeship.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
You know what step I always overlook or think it's really just a recommendation? Proper ventilation.
Oh, in a basement especially, right?
Yeah, you wake up a couple hours later with a pounding headache and on the floor. And
I hear that.
Pungent. That's good.
Yeah, I am totally going to check out that. Okay, say it again. Sorry, Michael. The non
Brick?
smooth on.
The brick in the yard.
Brick in the yard. Okay. I wrote it down yesterday. I'm just not even anywhere near my notes. But I'm checking them out because what you've described of them, I want to start buying from them so I can get an arsenal for when I actually try it again.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're a great company, and if you have any questions, you can actually call them and you speak to somebody like right away. You're not sitting there on the phone waiting for some guy like from wherever to like tell you what's going on. I mean, you literally you get like the guy that owns the company, Mitch.
Oh, really?
Talk to him.
And
they're very knowledgeable about everything. They're great.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have about 10 minutes left in the show, so we're probably gonna it goes that fast. Exactly. So some great progress by everybody so far. This has been fascinating to watch.
I think it's so much fun sculpting a dead body or a dead face, at least for me, because there's there's no rules about an expression other than just a dead expression. It's like, anyway, I don't know why, but I just love that. Well,
I think that one of the cool things about it is the things that you guys do have so much life and so much character to them that the dead part of it, it's like it's all taken out of that, but yet it still has personality.
Yeah. I mean, just because they're dead, they could still have a personality.
Exactly.
There's still somebody.
Smart or will smile. A lot of them are kind of depressed. This guy is a little depressed, All right.
I am just so blown away by the progress you've got. Michael, yesterday we were talking to him, was saying how, I'm not the fastest sculptor, but this is probably the furthest thing we've seen come along from zero to now.
Really?
Oh, since we've been doing this, because you're blowing us out of the water, and we thought we were fast, right, Paul?
Oh my God!
Shit me, I'm almost done. You can't get me.
Oh, come on!
You have so much detail to go.
Yeah, you're gonna spend 2 more hours on it, Paul.
I put him back right there.
Yeah. I mean, when if somebody's that good, they just put it together. There, guy's an expert.
Oh man, I don't know if it's an expert, but. I don't know. I mean, there's still a long way to go with it,
Yeah. But I just God, that is crazy. That is crazy. And guys, this just popped out of his head during our discussion, so I think we need to talk to him more, so we keep having this kind of insanity come out in our sculpts.
You guys are awesome. You kidding me?
Oh, stop it. I'm definitely not awesome because at some point I think I lost half my tools just sitting here.
They walked off, or you threw them away, or
they're under a pile of pumpkin stuff. I don't know. Luckily, I have all kinds of them. Because you really only use like 3 of your tools.
Yeah, you definitely have your favorites. Do you have any big projects coming up that you want to talk about or tell us about before we wrap up this fun?
Sure.
Amazing show.
Yeah, we're gonna be coming out with last year we had promised a deluxe edition of the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark bust, complete with the barn that's on the front cover there of the books.
Okay.
So we'll be producing just a handful of those. We're working on them as we speak. We have a couple new products that will be coming out next year. And other than that, we're just going to be pounding away at product and getting more sculpts out there, more resin, more silicone pieces, trying to build up inventory for you guys.
Beautiful.
So, and everybody can find you in multiple forms, but I know I follow you on Instagram. Is that the easiest way to then click on go to your shop and go that way?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Instagram is great. You can also just go to the grayhousestudio.com. That has a little bit more of a variety of almost absolutely everything that I've built in the past, maybe 7 or 8 years, something like that. So, and anything that people see on there, we can certainly reproduce for them. I mean, just because it's not in stock doesn't mean that we can't reproduce it. So, if people are looking for something specific, I mean, just give us a shout out and we'll see what we can do.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yep. And I put the link in the chat as well. So yeah, please check out his work. It's just incredible. And yeah, do you take a lot of this stuff to when you were doing shows? Do you take a lot of all this stuff
Oh yeah. Yeah. We try to do like 1 or at least 2 of each piece, for conventions and stuff like that. But we're hoping that this coming year, if the conventions are back, we'll try to be back too.
Yes, we're all hoping for that too. I mean, any kind of forum where we can physically be in front of people, because when you see these in person versus they're beautiful online, but when you see them in person, you're just staggered because they're so they're so amazing. I know I will be a huge patron, and to the chagrin of my family, who probably won't want to see that out every day. But,
honestly,
but hey, it's art. I like that. It's just my that's what I see as art. So
right on.
I tell you, since I've gotten mine, I've sat and stared at it. I can't get over it.
Yeah,
I can't wait to attempt to try and copy it on something.
Right on. Right on.
All right. So do you want to go around the room and start showing off where we're at with everything? So let's take another look. I'm going to take another look at Michael's. Why, that's so cool.
You got a name for that little guy already?
I do not. Usually the names don't come until a lot later, and I'm like, oh, shit, I gotta name this friggin' thing. Yeah.
So the hump on the back, I'm in love with. Are you thinking hair and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think this would be a cool little silicone piece for a little bust, something.
Heck yeah. Okay.
You never know.
The angles are amazing to me. I'm in love with all those angles too. That's phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, good stuff. So I'm gonna solo in on Paul.
Oh.
I love it.
Really nice.
And I like the divot in the head too. That's you guys are so inspired by Michael and all this. I could tell.
Really
So good.
And then the nose, I love the cut above the nose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really nice.
It's so cool.
Trying to keep up with the big dogs.
Really cool.
Paul, you got to name yours now.
I will call him Squash.
Let's see what you got, Matt.
The teeth.
I love
the teeth.
So I'm starting to work on some teeth. I don't know if I can get a better picture of him here. I swear his eyes, he's got one little bit of a droop going on, but he's going to have just barely open eyes here. And then if I can empty his mouth out, so he'll have some nice gums going here. Yeah. I'm 90% of the time I hate what I make, but tonight I'm enjoying this guy. So
that's awesome.
He should turn into something pretty happy, or happy for me, sad for him.
Michael inspired us tonight. Thanks, man.
Yes.
Oh, thank you guys for having me on.
Oh,
Yeah, we told you it would go fast.
They really did.
Yeah, and but it's been a fascinating journey into like your process, your workflow, and seeing what you create. It's I said, like, you have so much. There's so many artists out there that put out their work, but I actually had this was like one of the first times where I actually had trouble because you put out so many great pictures of all your things that you do. And so like I didn't even scratch the surface. Like you have so many more of these things, and they go way back as well. So yeah, your work is fascinating.
We got a few more minutes. You want to cycle through some more? You're welcome to.
Yeah.
I mean,
So let me.
I'd love to have people see more of his work.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So let me pull that up.
I mean, you've already seen our stuff. Let's see his stuff.
yeah. Any more stuff.
Yeah. So I'll start with this right here. There we go. Yeah, that's
when you were holding it, right?
Yeah, that was the mold for it. And if you turn it inside out, it's terrifying. It looks like I don't know, like some like weird, like those M&M guys, like if they.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, these are so cool. And it's like you also do this type of work too, which we didn't even touch on. I mean, like there's just a detail in
you were
it.
describing, right?
Yeah, this is part of the barn that's going in for the Scary Stories piece.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, that's just the mold.
We didn't even touch on your drawing. Like,
oh man,
emulates the same style. It's so cool that you can carry it over from one medium to the next.
Yeah, I mean the drawing is like very few and far between.
Actually, I'm gonna pull some of that out because like that was the whole thing too. Like all of this. I mean, it's crazy how yeah. I mean, I said there's a whole different level of all this stuff that you do as well. I mean, this is just fascinating.
Yeah. When you can leap to the sculpting we just saw from this. Yeah. Yeah, wow.
And you say you don't do very much of this, which is
no,
nuts.
I really don't. Like I had this little stint for like maybe a month or two, like 2 years ago, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna draw tonight, and I did it for a couple months, and that was it. Like that was it. It was just like this little kind of blurb.
Wow. It certainly kind of extrapolated to some of your sculpts. I mean, they maybe gave you some good examples of what to do.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to get back into it for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just missed sculpting so much. So
right.
Yeah, it's super, super cool. Yeah, and I always want to clone myself just so I can have another person to do all my little tasks. But I mean, like, can you imagine if Michael cloned himself? Like, with the amount of like different media, just for different mediums. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be helpful. Oh, believe me.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
You could tell them what to do. Order them around a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love that shit. Yeah.
You could take the day off while you sent him to work.
Oh my God, that would be even better.
It's so awesome. So that is the show that we had for you today. Michael, thank you.